But yeah, well, that's what we'll go. That's what we'll go with anyway. So Google says that the definition of weekly is something that's done, produced, or occurring once a week, or simply just as an adverb once a week.
Which is why this podcast, I think, qualifies as weekly.
I think we can call it that.
Because we have done once a week.
I would say we've done, produced, and occurred once a week. From the beginning of time to now.
Yes, and until the end of time as well.
Until the end of time, yes. As always, welcome back to the Very Cool and Epic podcast. This is episode 3, the biggest episode so far. This means that we've actually got further this season than we did in season 1, which didn't happen, but in theory happened. Of the Very Cool and Epic podcast. So well done, Will. We've made it.
We've been more consistent.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if consistent is the word because it is
matched the consistency, and then we have actually done another one rather than taking a break that lasted indefinitely. So it's an improvement. It's an improvement.
How long did the break last, actually?
Oh, I don't think you'll be able to see the previous. Actually, wait. You mean for us?
Yeah. Our break. Okay, it's over. It's over. It's
over a month. Let's just say Christmas or something.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. There we go. We can say that. I don't know when this podcast is going up, but it might be the new year. We're recording this on the 30th, so happy New Year, either coming up or I hope you have a good New Year if it has happened.
And that New Year might be 2022, or it might be 2023. Or,
yeah, it really could go off at any time, couldn't it?
Who knows? Cover all bases, but it won't be 2021.
No,
no. We can say
we probably can't release this into the past. We can give it a go, right? We can give it a little bit of a go. Anyway. I think today is another anime podcast, and that everyone's gonna cheer and happy to hear that. I think.
Yes. Well, there won't be anyone not cheering.
Yeah, that's true. Because they will have clocked out by now. People don't usually get to the 2-minute mark.
Yes, exactly. Also, if no one listens to this, then there can't be anyone not cheering.
There we go. Exactly.
That also works.
Yeah. That also works. But yeah, I think it kind of makes sense this time. It's the end of a year of anime, end of a season of anime, and looking forward to next year's shows as well, which we've had quite a few kind of like second seasons of stuff already confirmed for next year, which is quite exciting. But I think that's something that we'll speak a little bit about later. We can do a bit of reflection on the whole year and some of the shows that we've watched. But I think a kind of a primary focus might be just on the most recent season, which is just concluding.
Yes, the fall season.
The full 2021 season. I don't know how many shows you were watching from it, but I think ended up checking out about 10 shows, 9 or 10 shows.
I think I was only like 3 maybe for the full one.
Okay, I think I'm 10, including Pokemon Evolutions, which is the 8-episode Pokemon web series, Star Wars Visions, and 11 if you count the ongoing Pokemon TV series, the 2019 Pokemon Journeys, which is still going on, of course. So it depends. Somewhere between 8 and 11.
Yes, if you count Star Wars Visions as full, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess at the end we'll find out the exact number, probably.
Yeah, we'll probably run through what we've seen. The order that we'll go through. I think we'll just talk a little bit about each of them. But starting with the ones that we really like. I mean, let's start with Hiki, shall we? Let's get that one done first, because that was just exceptional.
It was. It was really good.
I mean, definitely anime of the season. That's for sure.
Yep, I think I'd agree.
Yeah, probably in terms of original shows to come up this year, it probably would be my favorite. I can't think of anything because we had maybe like Attack on Titan's like season 4 or like Megalobox's second season. It's like they might have been slightly better than Hiki, but it's just something about this show, man. It was so good, and it came out. It really did kind of come out of nowhere. I'd heard a little bit about it because of is it Yamada, the director, I think, who'd worked at KyoAni before, and
I think that sounds right.
And she'd and that's kind of how through which I knew it was her new series outside of Kyoto Animation. So I was thinking it would be good to watch this and see how it is, and that was only a couple of weeks before it started, or just as it was starting, and
I mean, I think I found it when we were going through the season anime that were coming out,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, I think you mentioned it then, and I was just like, okay, it looks kind of cool. The art does on the front. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just out of nowhere, really.
It really was, yeah, because with these original shows, and it happens quite a lot in that you don't really know what's gonna be good if it's not really got a manga that's adapted from or something. I mean, it kind of has a book that tells the same story, doesn't it? Like a
yes.
actual piece of like novel, like a piece of proper literature.
Proper
literature. You know what I mean?
Novel. I guess it is probably a novel. It's quite old as well.
Yeah.
It is fairly. I'm not sure exactly how old it is.
But it's classic literature. It's classic literature.
It's classic Japanese literature, at least.
Yeah. But it was really, really like good, really interesting to watch. I mean, we'll try and keep like the spoilers pretty low throughout the duration of the podcast.
Although you might argue that it's quite hard to spoil a book written in 1330. Looking it up. Or even before 1330, because they probably don't have the exact writing date. But regardless, I guess if people haven't heard of it before...
If people haven't heard of it and they're watching the anime, right? Then it is still a news story in some sense. And I don't know whether the literature, the work would have included characters like Biwa. I think
Biwa was unique.
Yeah.
When I say unique, was new. And I suspect there's probably like a really interesting question of whether Biwa was a good addition to the story. Like whether
is that something either of us can answer? I don't think so.
Don't think so, because I think you need to reread the original story.
I think you probably need to do that. But we can both say that. I mean, I'd certainly say that Biwa added quite a lot to. Well, it felt like she added quite a lot to the story. Just that kind of different perspective. Someone that's not involved in the actual kind of conflict between the clans and stuff. A sort of narrator as well.
Yes, I think that's the primary kind of, I guess, reason in a sense for Biwa being there is this kind of narrator character idea.
Yeah.
Because although like it was kind of weird because most of the time you just see kind of a lot of the time it was Biwa's perspective you'd get on things and you'd sort of learn about things from Biwa. I think for maybe about half the time, but the other half it was just sort of kind of like this third person kind of narrative in the way you would get in a book when you've got like a third person sort of kind of omniscient narrator idea where you you jump around people's different perspectives on on different sides and you just kind of learn what's said. So like the use of Biwa as a narrator isn't completely correct, I think, because you did see stuff that she wouldn't have had access to.
That's definitely true. Yeah, there was parts of it which were like, we're seeing Biwa and we're seeing how she is reacting to kind of what's going on, but there was also a lot of it which was really quite separate to her, and that might have been stuff from the other clans, which obviously she's not directly seeing, experiencing. It feels like there is a third person narrator kind of as well as Biwa, but lots of it is kind of framed from her perspective. From the Hiki clan stuff is framed from her perspective.
I suspect actually also in those cases the third person narrator, it's probably like Biwa from the future telling the story.
Yes, I believe so.
I imagine. I think that's makes the most sense to me, at least.
It kind of ties the idea of Beaver being the
Yeah,
narrator together, doesn't it?
yeah, exactly.
And it's something that you sort of see, and this is kind of used as like a motif through the series of Beaver being this. There's like this. I don't know if we ever decided what to call it, but this kind of like white-haired Beaver that we see in certain
Yeah,
scenes usually towards the end of episodes,
yeah.
where
I think
she'll
she
be
appeared in like 9 out of the 12 episodes, maybe something like that. Fairly
yeah,
common.
yeah. So it happened most episodes, and usually it was towards the end,
Yeah.
and that felt a little bit like a retelling of the story after the fact almost.
Yes.
And that was cool. It was really cool. Those bits were really stylistically quite interesting. And they looked so good. The animation was so pretty.
Yeah. The animation for the entire series was stunning. It
Yeah.
was beautiful. I think episode 12, maybe there were
There were only 11 episodes. You're definitely wrong.
episode 11. Okay, I was gonna say like it's episode. It was. I thought it was episode 11, but it was the last episode, and that's why.
Yeah.
Getting confused. Episode 11. I think there were like 9 or 10 moments, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, I want to stop this and remove the subtitles and just have this as like a 4K image that I can like use as a background or something, because there were so many beautiful shots.
It was so pretty. Yeah. There were a lot of bits like that felt really good. It felt that the animation was amazing. The music was really good. I think I did find out it was the same person that did the music for A Silent Voice. Or the
Okay.
so so that was really good as well. And
Yeah.
so many bits, and you could tell it was well directed as well. Like the way
Yeah.
scenes were kind of like composed and the whole story like cohesively put together. It was really really good.
Yep. I think as well it didn't. One thing that was really good was at some points it got quite emotional, and it didn't like try to remove that emotion or cheapen that emotion or like lighten the mood by immediately telling a joke afterwards or
Oh,
something.
I
or,
was so thankful for that.
like
I was so
changing up the music or something. It just let itself be like sorrowful and sad, which was
It's quite a simple thing to do, but those kind of the key emotional moments happened towards or right at the end of an episode. So you'd either have a scene kind of quiet reflection after the fact, or you'd end the episode on that note, and it sticks with you a little bit longer like that. There's nothing to kind of like dampen that emotion. It was really effective. It's quite a simple thing to do, but it works so well.
yeah, absolutely. Like it's one of the things I think as well, because the art style's kind of simple in a way. It's not very flashy. There's not like all these bright lighting effects going on. The way I described the art was it felt a bit like watercolor, kind of almost to me.
Yeah, that makes
kind
sense.
Of feeling. Because I think also sometimes they had like the paper texture
Yeah.
on the background. I think as well that kind of art being kind of simple, a lot of the like simple and understated in a lot of ways, while still just being incredible in its decisions, in the art style, and like the decision to let moments sort of stand by themselves, kind of without sort of trying to like cheapen them or artificially heighten the emotion.
And there definitely were bits that were, light-hearted, kind of like funny moments where mostly like Bieber was interacting with like the other, like the brothers and stuff through the series. And lots of those were a lot more light-hearted and largely they kind of happened in the first half, though it kind of did persist into the second half as well. But it was never. It was really there was never a case where the comedic scenes or the light-hearted scenes took any away from any of the emotional or like strong scenes. And some of that's placement, some of that is just the way it was put together. It never really felt that was the overwhelming direction that the series was wanting to go in, being this kind of like funny, light-hearted series. It was quite a fairly serious story, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting as well because obviously it's adapted from the book, so the story's already there. A lot of the, I guess, the decisions in terms of what happens, like mood-wise throughout the series and that sort of thing, is already there. But even so, it was still well done in the anime.
Definitely.
I think though the biggest criticism against it maybe is how confusing it is.
Sure.
that's definitely one that I've seen in a few comments and reviews online. Has been the it's hard to know what's going on because there are there's a fair number of partly because of the simple art style and realistic art style as well. People look quite similar.
There's a lot of characters that look similar. They have similar names.
Yeah,
it was a little bit confusing watching it, having a break in between every episode of like a week's break between every episode to remember exactly which character was which. When sometimes they'd be wearing stuff as well, which would make it hard to work out who was who.
I think I remember definitely with the sort of the head of the Hiki family, the old bald guy. I remember getting him and I think the Emperor confused.
Okay.
When I first saw them, because they're both these sort of bald old men.
Yeah.
Dressed in their robes type thing, and I think it was only after seeing a few different scenes, I was like, wait a minute, these are different people. This explains the confusion.
There were quite a few sets of brothers, which obviously are meant to look similar because they're brothers, but you had the three Koromori, I think, and I can't really remember
Koromori.
There was one beginning with Takenmori, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
possibly.
Those three. Then you had Shigemori,
and he had a brother as well.
He did, who was visually distinctive from I think a lot of the other characters, but I couldn't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they had two. Did they have another brother as well? Because there was the guy with sort of almost sideburns type.
There was I don't know which one. There's a lot of Moris, so I don't know which one's which.
I think the confusion is evident.
Yeah, I think we've demonstrated that. Well, that was a skit that we put in there to. But no, that's definitely true. There's some characters that are easy that stand out. Tokugo, who you really like Tokugo.
She was brilliant. She was absolutely brilliant.
She was great throughout the entire series. Really interesting.
I think she's a wonderful example as well of a strong female character who is kind of strong but still typically feminine in a sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Throughout the series, she's it's not like she's putting on armor and going into battle type sort of strong female characters, which is still they're still strong female characters. But she was sort of strong in the sense of being part of an arranged marriage and having a kid, and within that role of quite a sort of, I guess, dictated position.
Yeah.
In this patriarchal society type of thing, she was really strong in that role, which I thought was, I don't know,
it was really good.
So I guess I don't know, quite inspiring, but it's that sort of.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Sure. They'll not an ideal hand. I mean, it's not a terrible hand, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but it's definitely not not a free life, not one that the character can choose what to do in, and seeing how she responds to that life and how she acts, and coming out as I think one of the strongest characters in the show, honestly, in terms of how she responds to situations.
I think so. She definitely grows in that sense as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was really good. I was a big fan of Shigemori through the series as well. I think he was great.
He was
as a kind of mentor figure to Biwa, as that father figure basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was great, and the stuff obviously that he did to for the sake of the clan, to keep everything kind of ticking over, to keep it going. He was great as well. He was great as well.
He was like that kind of model father, model clan member.
Yeah.
Definitely sort of model person in that sense.
Yeah, it was definitely one of my. I mean, one of my favourites from the year. It was superb. Yeah. It was superb.
Yeah, it was really good. It's interesting as well because it was done by Science Saru, who I think I can't remember exactly when I watched Star Wars Visions in relation to Hiki, but I think the only other thing I'd seen by them was Star Wars Visions.
Yeah.
And even in Star Wars Visions, they had kind of distinctive styles.
They have a very distinctive art style.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did Ping Pong, which is also another distinctive art style.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd seen Ping Pong by them, which I'd really liked. So it was kind of interesting from that kind of point in that they're doing this distinctive art style, which is even, I mean, I think it was distinctive at least from Ping Pong. It was distinctive from Star Wars Visions.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting as like a that kind of perspective of doing something different that's not one of the typical anime styles.
Yeah, definitely.
Standard modern style. And it definitely worked so well for the story, the time, the setting.
It felt kind of historical as it was, right? It kind of felt like it almost came out of one of those like kind of like classical art books as well. You could sort of see that inspiration there. The traditional Japanese drawings and that sort of idea. It was really it was really good. It was really good. We didn't watch that many other shows, kind of like both of us. I think Blue Period. We've both seen Star Wars Visions, but we'll do Blue Period first. Blue Period first. I think
I really like.
I think our opinions are slightly different, but we both overall think it's pretty good. It was really good.
I think the anime itself, in terms of the animation, wasn't exceptional.
Yeah.
At some points, it definitely distracted me from the story. Not that many, but definitely some of them. And I felt like, oh, this feels badly animated at some points, or this feels clunky, or it feels kind of slow, or it looks, it's kind of that thing where characters turn and then seem to like lock onto a profile view. Almost, to describe it. That felt like that occurred a few times. But I definitely feel like quality-wise, the animation could have been a lot better. That said, I still did like some of the visual stuff. I think, just focusing on the visually, one of the things I did is because it's a show about art and about a character learning to paint, and part of that was sketching as well. So they actually had sort of, anime stuff going on, and then on the piece of, the canvas or the piece of paper that they're drawing on, that was drawn in a typical kind of art style.
Yeah,
it was an interesting combination, because visually it's quite distinctive to go from these sort of smooth block colors type, with the shading and that sort of anime kind of style, to like a graphite sketch on paper.
Yeah, that's right.
An oil painting or something, and that was interesting, which I don't know how, like, sometimes I appreciated it, sometimes I felt like it wasn't that good. I don't think there's any way to do it without doing that.
Probably not really, but you can still appreciate it regardless of that.
I mean, audially, I couldn't really comment on the sound. It didn't, I don't think, stand out to me at any point.
I don't think there were any bits of the music or the sound or anything that stood out.
I
can't really remember any of the soundtrack from it.
Same.
Going back to the animation quickly, because it wasn't that it was bad. There was a lot of it which felt limited. I mean, lots of scenes where it was just a lip flap animation when a character's talking, which you see so often. That's not massive. It's not like a problem. It's more just like a limiting factor that stops it from being good animation or great animation or whatever. So there was that. I think there was a little bit. What I was disappointed in is that there was not enough kind of experimental kind of art, in the sense that you didn't really have that many scenes where it would be focused on Yatara thinking about something, and then the background would change into this kind of like visually interesting scene, which I feel would work so well for a series like this.
Oh, is it like he's thinking of what he's going to draw type thing?
Either thinking about what he's going to draw, or he's thinking about. So there's often points in this series where he's reflecting on kind of bits of his own personality or whatever.
Mhm.
And it would be quite interesting if when he's having these thoughts with the drawing stuff, whether kind of ideas were forming in like in the background of his head, and we saw that kind of coming on screen, or when he's thinking, just something going on that felt a little bit more interesting to look at than just a static background, because of the focus on art. I think it really should have been something that they explored a little bit more. Though it felt that probably was a little bit out of their out of what was possible, really. And that's why it feels a little bit disappointing. The art, it just feels kind of bland, the art animation, when it could have been something with the ideas that it's talking about and the actual theme of the series. It could have been something that was done so well.
Yes, I think especially because it's the art theme, like that kind of point of like, it's an art anime, so should the art be done really well? Probably. Well, that if you want a standout feature, that's what you want. In the same way, if you look at a sports anime and like you watch them play a game and they play the game, at such a low level or something, where they don't correctly follow the rules of the game, or they don't use strategies and things in the game. Or something. Like if you were to watch that happen as someone who knew about the sport, you'd like. It's like losing immersion type thing and feeling disappointed in the kind of the premise of the show almost.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely fair to say that as an anime about art, really it should be visually good.
Yeah, it's just that it wasn't really interesting is my major kind of problem with it. It just looked and felt bland. It felt fairly simple, and when it is all about like expression and art and all these things that they're doing, it just would have been nice to be able to see more of it. Just different creative ways of trying to provide backgrounds or whatever.
Fine, sorry, should have got it.
They would have done something interesting.
They would have made it interesting.
Yeah.
Other than visually how the anime looked, I think the thing that I liked most about it was the ideas, the story, that sort of aspect, the characters.
Yeah.
And something about it just clicked, I guess, with me in a way, in terms of me enjoying it and me liking it. Because I'm not entirely sure why. And that's probably an enjoyment I can get from the manga.
Yeah, having not read the manga and you haven't either, I feel like it's a little bit difficult to compare the two, but you can tell when watching it that it kind of is lacking as an adaptation. You can just watch it and feel that because of like the simplicity that we've already spoken about with the animation. It feels like sometimes they're jumping kind of bullet point plot points and sort of jumping a bit too quickly between ideas. Some of the ideas explored, to me at least, felt like it should have been given a little bit more time to breathe and a little bit more exploration, because having one or two themes within an episode isn't really that. It's a bit quick. It's a bit quick to really properly explore them if Yatara is going to change as he does throughout the series.
Absolutely agree. And I think one of the ways of seeing it is like the amount of time that the anime covers. I think is over a year. I think, right?
Yeah.
It's a year and a bit, maybe. I think
it might be a year. Yeah, something like that.
Because his upperclassman graduates and then he graduates as well, right?
Yeah, just over a year then.
Which in 12 episodes it's a lot of time. That's on average a month per episode, sort of going on there.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Which is it's a lot of time, like for him. So it makes sense for the characters to change this much over time. It's just the anime itself doesn't give enough time for that really to happen.
That's how. Yeah, it felt like it needed more time. I don't know if this is like a in 13 episodes they would have done it. I feel it's probably not a case of, oh, give this 2 cores and it'll be fine. It's just another instance of them probably trying to do too much in this 1 core series, right?
Yeah.
Trying to cover too much content to get to a certain point.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know as well how much of the actual manga Blue Period adapts.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, while you're having a look, you did mention the characters, and naturally I thought Yatara was the most interesting because he's the entire focus that we got so far, really. We have a little bit of pieces of some other characters, but it feels like a lot of them are still to get time later on in the series. But Yatara was interesting. He's the kind of the eyes through which we were watching what was going on, and the focus of all the different changes in mindset and all the different like bits of self exploration that he had were all done from his perspective, of course, and he was interesting, and as we've said, the ideas about self expression or we kind of identity was quite a large one.
Yep.
That they were all done pretty well. They were really interesting, and it was something that I wanted to see done properly. And maybe that's why I'm a little bit harsher on this than I should be. Is that I love the ideas in this. I just wish they were given a little bit more time.
Yeah, because they're like the ones like the idea of identity and sort of like putting on different masks depending on who you're around and like who you even are, and using art to sort of try and find your true expression. Even the other characters who didn't get as much development, like Ryuji.
Yeah, we definitely saw it with Ryuji as well, that identity thing.
Yeah, it was so interesting, and sort of the Maki as well, sort of with the idea of like living up to your family's expectations, having all these siblings in your entire family be really good at this sort of thing, and you're trying to live up to those.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of different perspectives on issues that are often arise during, kind of teen into adult kind of age.
Yeah.
Maybe later on in life, but I can't speak to that. And I think that's like it's encapsulating a whole bunch of them. Obviously, the main focus is on Yatara, but it does just more than that. It just does so much stuff.
Yeah, there was so much there. There was so much there. It was really kind of like, it feels like an amazing read, and I really do want to read it. And I guess it's done its job in inspiring me to read the manga, right?
Yeah, that's true. It has succeeded.
It succeeded in that. I definitely want to check it out because there are so many good things about it.
Yep.
And all the good things about it feel that they'd exist just as well, if not better, in the manga. I think is my major takeaway.
Yes.
From it.
I think it's a manga, so you can have better art in the manga potentially. You can definitely have like, I think slow reflective stuff is done generally better in manga than it is.
Well, you're able to take your own pauses, aren't you, with manga?
Exactly, like as the reader, yeah. And I think you gain generally better access to people's thoughts as well in written formats rather than in
definitely
animated ones. Yeah, I suspect it would be a lot better. To follow up with the way how quickly it adapted it, according to this article, which may or may not be accurate, at the end of episode 8, it had adapted 17 of the chapters.
Okay.
And in the first 5 volumes, there are 21 chapters.
Yeah.
And each chapter is 40 to 50 pages long. So I feel like this Blue Period thing may have... Sorry, this Blue Period thing... the anime may have ended up adapting possibly the first 5 books.
Yeah.
But that seems so quick. Like,
for a reflective series, it's a lot. I know, like with some maybe a sports series or something, you can get away with adapting kind of 3 chapters an episode or something, and that's fine. That's not a problem because the content is really kind of wide, and big pages, dynamic, and it's quick to read. It's quick to be able to. There's a lot you'd have to put in an episode to get to the 20 minutes. Whereas with a series that has a lot of ideas and themes and just kind of like fairly heavy content at times, it feels like it's a little bit like you want to give it the time it needs, and that means that you gotta give it certain amounts of episodes. You're not wanting to adapt 2 to 3 chapters per episode. I feel like that is a bit quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, these are 40 to 50 page chapters, which is
okay. Sorry, I was going off
double the length of a shonen chapter.
I was going off like a 20 to 25 page like Shonen Jump.
It's exactly. It's doing like 80 to 100 pages per episode.
God, that's a lot.
That seems far too much.
Yeah,
that's even if it were, like a sports anime where you can adapt quickly, or something that's can wrap stuff up in animation quite quickly. No wonder it feels too quick.
That definitely comes off as way too quick. Okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely zoomed through. Oh my word! They must have skipped out on a whole bunch of.
I would imagine there's a lot that they skipped out on. Yeah, just kind of covering the general bullet point ideas. The touch on the ideas, explore the ideas a little bit, but
yeah.
Okay, I just want to read the manga now. I did just want to read the manga now.
Yeah. Because even, I think like Ryuji being being male and cross-dressing, for instance, I don't think was well explained.
It didn't feel like it was well explained.
And I remember being a little bit confused as to like, wait a minute, is this the same character when they were, I think, in and out of?
Yeah, no, definitely. The first couple of times that we saw them, I was just a little bit unsure about. I couldn't remember maybe what the series had said previously. It just didn't feel like there was a lot when they were introduced.
Yeah, it's one of those things which probably in the manga would have just been better explained and better done.
God. But hey, this is about the anime, and the anime still wasn't bad. It still wasn't bad.
I think I probably took a overly optimistic view of it, because I looked at it and gone, I like the ideas, so I'm going to forgive the animation. And from the sounds of it, you looked at it and went, I like the ideas, but I don't like the animation. And so you're gonna probably like look at it more unfavorably than it probably is worth. So I suspect
you're comparing it to like how good it could be. I'm comparing it to how good I want it to be.
Yeah.
And neither of us are looking at how good it is.
Yes, which is fine, because the enjoyment level I got out of it was better because I was more willing to forgive.
Yes, yeah.
Give things and not worry about them.
And I'm a big negative boy, and
a negative ball of energy.
Yeah. Oh god. But yeah, that one wasn't bad. That one, Blue Period, was pretty good. Let's do Visions because we've also both seen that one.
Yes.
It took me a long time to get through it, Visions, because I was busy with other bits. But over time, I've watched it all, and I'm not really sure. It was a collection of all the stories were pretty cool. It was really nice to see a Star Wars story written in these different like stylistically unique like anime formats, right? So we had one, but we had a couple done by Studio Trigger, didn't we? We had
two done by Trigger. One of them was like very typical Trigger in that it was the kind of Promare, Gurren Lagann type style of Trigger. And the other one was a lot sort of not that style, I don't think.
It felt a little bit more grounded, which is
yeah, a little bit. I think it felt a lot more grounded, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually pretty good. Well, okay. It makes it sound as if I didn't think the first one was that good, which I didn't. But
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it was actually a very different style. Really, I think quite well done. It was interesting to see. I think Science Saru was the other studio who got two. I think they were the only two studios.
Science Saru, yeah, okay.
Both of Science Saru's ones felt very different as well, which was quite nice. So it felt very much like even though they're the same studio, they've got different teams doing
Yeah,
them with
it
different.
does tell you that, doesn't it? That it really is a lot more about the teams than it is the studio. And I think my favorite one
Yeah.
of the nine was the episode 4 one, the one done by Cinema Citrus.
Oh, was that the one where there's like a marriage thing or something? Maybe talking about.
Yeah. So it was called The
Yes.
Village Bride.
Yep.
It was done. It had like I think Kevin Penkin doing the music. It had
Oh,
it was very much like a kind of Made in Abyss vibe for at least the first half of that one,
yes.
where it felt very much like here is a really cool world, and we're going to show you this world, and that was cool. That was really nice.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. Lots of them were just fun. Like Tatooine
Yeah.
Rhapsody, Tatooine
Oh.
Rhapsody, episode 2.
How-
It was
Like-
fun.
Yeah. They were great. There are a whole bunch of great ones. I'm looking at my ratings. I've rated each individual episode, and I feel like I've got my ratings in a muddle here somehow. Because I gave the first episode a 9. I think the first one was.
It was that 3D one, wasn't it?
I think the first one was the first one the band one, or was it the kind of?
No. The second one was the band one.
Okay. No, I haven't got my ratings in a muddle. The first one was the JoJo-esque one, right?
A JoJo-esque, yeah, that kind of works. That kind of works as a description.
I don't know if that's an accurate description. For
It doesn't-
some reason,
it doesn't feel accurate, but
no, because it's JoJo is like unbelievably colourful, and this was black and white, so it's a terrible description.
yeah.
For some reason, it's linked to JoJo's. Maybe
it's
maybe
got that
it's the
same 3D animation that it does in the JoJo's openings, except for all the colors.
Yeah.
That's as much as I can give you. I don't think it's the same. It's not the same studio.
Why did I? No, it is. It's the people who did JoJo's.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Episode 1 they did JoJo's season 1, and they did Stardust Crusaders as well.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's in my head as a JoJo's. But I agree, it didn't feel JoJo's style.
Yeah.
In terms of the color, I think some of the kind of animation and kind of British drawing and fighting slightly did to some extent, I think,
Yeah.
but not really. But that one was, I think, really cool.
That one was cool. It was. I think most of them. I mean, they were a little bit too short to really explore a full story.
Yeah,
They had to introduce a world, and they had to give a little story in that. And I wish some of them had more time. I wish some of them had more time because a lot of them are really cool.
yeah, there were. Definitely the one which had Lope in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that one, because that felt to me as well like, as a person who knows very little about Japanese culture, that felt like it was kind of mixing some of the Star Wars stuff with Japanese culture.
Yeah, that was
It was
good.
like one of the characters cutting her hair off, and
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, that one was really good.
that sort of kind of quite nice city vibe, and the idea of, the kind of local people versus big corporation coming in and kind of removing culture and that sort of thing. So there was a lot of like themes in that one that felt really good, and animation wise, it was really good. That one definitely was a standout.
Yeah.
For me.
I think all of them. I think the main thing with all of them is it was just they were just all really nice to watch as like completely different styles of stories for an already established franchise. Just exploring, letting people do their thing is what was really nice. It felt like they were anime stories. It didn't feel like Disney was telling them what to do. It felt like they could very much tell the stories that they wanted to in this world that they want to tell stories in, because Star Wars is an interesting world or universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that kind of blend of here's the setting, and let's give it the anime twist in a variety of different ways. So,
Yeah.
in a whole bunch of different ways, which is really nice.
Yeah, definitely. That was good. I did enjoy that. I think. What else? No, that's all the ones that we both. Well, how about Tact? Because you started that one at least.
I did start Tact.
Yeah. Let's talk about Tact.
Wait.
All right. Episode 1. Episode 1 was good.
Episode 1 was good because the concept was cool, the animation was good, and it looked good.
Yes.
As a series, it was like this is this is fun. You know,
It was fun because it wasn't just the animation obviously being a lot better in episode 1.
Yeah.
Because it was so much better in episode 1 than any other episode in the series. But it was also that it introduced an idea, and it gave you just enough of that idea to think about where it was going to go, and for that to be interesting. It was unique in how the characters fought using like the music and stuff, and that was cool. It
made you ask as well quite questions about kind of the world in terms of you're doing this setup where there's beasts that hunt people who like play music and rhythm.
Yeah.
So you have all these interesting sort of little examples starting to appear of how people live without music, sound, how people want to have it back, how there's no instruments, how there's no singing, like all these interesting sort of world building aspects of how daily life might be could be incorporated into there. It's got a kind of an interesting, I think we've described it as like post-apocalyptic kind of vibe.
It was really,
which is is one of those things of like, how do you survive in a post-apocalypse? Not that interesting, been done lots. How do you survive in a post-apocalypse where really the only thing you're losing out on is music, but you're like still kind of living in fear, as though there's zombies around the corner about to eat you, but they're not zombies, they're anti-music beasts who are about to kill you if you produce music. And that's sort of like, the world's really cool. The like how kind of these music art things work with the conductors, what the power is, what the relation is, what they can kind of do. All these sort of things start seeming interesting, and set up a whole kind of realm of possibilities of directions that the series could go and ideas to develop. Just stuff.
It gave us a bunch of ideas on the direction the series was going to go, but it told us where it was going to go to. They were going to America, weren't they? They were going to Las Vegas, was it?
Yeah, I think it was New York.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think they were traveling from somewhere southwest.
Yeah,
I think they went through Las Vegas. I think maybe
possibly that might be where I'm confusing it with. Yeah,
I think. And they were trying to get to New York. And I mean, they didn't fly. I don't know why they didn't fly. Because
I think get to New York.
but because it's kind of post-apocalyptic kind of, and so a bunch of stuff isn't there. But they still have cars. They still have like kind of fast food restaurant. Well, not fast food, but like roadside restaurants. There was still a casino. Yeah. There's all these things existing, and for some reason they don't fly, even though I guess this is one of the issues, like maybe of how the full extent of the world building maybe wasn't properly explained.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think we really understood the state of the world that well.
Yeah, because a lot of things seemed to be there, and then some stuff wasn't. And I think also one of the issues as well was the randomness with which they were sort of attacked by these beasts.
Yeah, it was just random. The whole thing just became for most of the series, there'd be a random encounter with one of these D2, one of these monsters, and it would just happen, and they'd do it, and then that was it. And it kind of felt completely like, well, they're not gonna, nothing's gonna happen. It's just this random thing that they brought out for the last 5 minutes of an episode.
Yeah, it's a bit like if you're in a game and you're running around and you run into random encounters.
Yeah.
Which makes sense given it's an advert for a game.
An advert for a gacha game. Yeah, it felt more like that as the series went on and introduced, hey, here are these other characters that you can roll for.
Yeah, and I only watched up to episode 4 before I lost motivation to watch any more, and then eventually dropped it after saying I was going to catch up.
I think you made the right choice, but I was never going to drop it. I don't tend to drop seasonal shows. But it wasn't one of my favourites of the year. It was just, I think, another example of it just ultimately coming out as feeling really kind of uninteresting and bland, and there was so much of it that just it wasn't engaging. It just wasn't engaging because it just felt like the characters had very little to them. Very little was actually going on. It would introduce a new character and they'd appear for an episode or two, but not really do anything, and be no reason to kind of care about them. It was it wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. Like it's not like harmfully bad. It's just like a really dull, uninteresting series that it was felt very like meandering as well. Like it never went to the point. It was always walking around where it wanted to go to, and it would introduce this new this new character, and we'd all kind of know, hey, this guy's going to do this in a couple of episodes time or whatever. It was I think I used the word vapid before to describe this, which works quite nicely. It's not great. It's not great.
I suspect that's because some companies gone, let's produce an advertisement in the form of an anime.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're a writer, do you want to write the story for like some shitty mobile game? No, not really.
Not really.
If you're like an episode director or an overall director or basically anything, you don't really want to, because it's not, it's not that interesting.
It isn't the story anyone really wants to be telling.
Yeah, like you're not gonna put that much effort into it. Maybe I'm bad mouthing the directors and people, but I mean, like, I'm just looking at this. The director, has been a storyboarder for an AOT episode, for a Promised Neverland episode, season 1.
Oh, season 1. Okay, it's fine.
He was like a key animator for a Blue Exorcist episode. He's done not that many things, but like a few things that are, like reasonably well done.
Yeah.
And actually, he was a storyboarder for the last episode of AOT.
As in the most recent one.
Yeah, the last episode of the final AOT, the final season, part 1, which was actually a pretty good episode.
It was a good episode. It was a great episode.
And you can look at it and you can go, yeah, there's some probably storyboarding or directing decisions here that's made this a good episode. So like, it's not like they're that bad. Obviously, they're still new and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
I think it was just the story that was being told was just not interesting because it was never meant to be. It was always meant to be this mobile tie-in.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I mean, because it's Madhouse and Nappa, who are both pretty good studios.
Yeah, I think it was very much a case of Mappa taking this on because they're taking everything on.
Yeah.
And Madhouse just got involved. I don't think they got involved past the first episode very much.
Yeah. And that it makes sense. First episode was well done. You can see there's probably Madhouse having a somewhat competent team on it.
Yeah.
And I think probably Mappa gave it to the other.
It was probably just some freelancers working at Mappa for the rest of it.
Yeah. And some of the people have probably worked with them before, type thing, and yeah, it's what it is. Do you know what other anime served as a promotion to something that came out this year?
Is this a transition to Pokemon Evolutions?
No, this is a transition to a very small Remain segment, Hate.
Okay.
Because Remain was produced in part by sponsorship by a sports company.
Really?
Yes. So the name of people on the balls, I can't remember what they are, but so they appear a bunch of times. But that was another show that was partly produced as an advertisement, essentially.
Oh, amazing!
Like, there's a theme here, which is these anime produced with this kind of support, which I'm assuming is not that much funding for an anime, probably.
Probably not really, no.
Like in terms of, giving someone like a...
It's product placement, and it really, isn't it? Lots of it.
Yeah, product placement for a probably not that expensive anime. If you've got your sort of, scale from like what's I guess Ghibli would probably be the most expensive anime because they spend like a month on 3 minutes or something of footage.
Oh yeah, just the amount of time they spend on it.
On a scale from that to like, I don't know, a pencil sketch on paper, it's It's towards pencil sketch and paper.
It's that side. Yeah.
It's definitely, you can tell. There's nothing hugely original or creative going on. There's nothing out there going on. There's nothing exciting going on. It's just just rapid, rash.
Yeah. God, yeah, it really was. It really was. But hey, we don't need to complain about Remain every episode.
No, but it's a good comparison. Yeah.
It works. It works. I guess I will use this to very briefly talk about Pokemon Evolutions, just because I mentioned that. It was like an 8-episode shorts, so they were all about 8 to 10 minutes long, one for each generation of Pokemon. And it told just a nice story about one of the. I think it was always a side character, or maybe it was your rival, or like the champion or something, and usually it would be about them. And one of the major stories told in the series, and it was just given a really, it was amazingly animated. It was so pretty. Not all of the stories told were great. There are a couple, I think, like the Diamond and Pearl one wasn't amazing. The I was kind of let down a little bit by the Unova one as well, because I really like Unova, and I really liked the story in Unova as well, and I thought that one was kind of disappointing. But a few of them were really good. The Johto one, which has kind of this traditional Japanese aesthetic already, was fun. It was good. The Kalos one, I can't really. Kalos one was okay. Kalos one was alright. The Galar one, which was the first episode, was probably my favourite, because it was just the kind of, it was giving character to someone that I didn't really like in the games, Leon the Champion. It gave him a real kind of sense of his own character and identity, and dealing with failure, and dealing with struggling to be this guy that the entire region sees him as. It was really great to see a different side to some of these characters, and it felt really satisfying, these episodes, because they were shorts. They weren't anything like monumental, but they were all pretty good. They were pretty well put together, and they justified themselves existing, I think.
Yeah.
Which these like video game tie-in ones don't always do.
Okay. So it was tying into the video games, not the
anime. No.
Not the anime. But
No.
does the anime itself tie into the video games as well? Like,
Well,
was the anime built after the video game?
yeah, the first game came out and then the anime started.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, they're their own things, right? They've been going on for so long that they're just kind of they're a different side to the same franchise. But Evolutions was stories of characters that were only, well, I mean, they're in the anime as well, but they're stories of characters from the game, and given like a new, sometimes a new like twist on it slightly, or just a different exploration of a different side to it, and that was good. It was good.
Was it run in a similar way to Star Wars Visions, where there were like different animation styles from episode to episode?
No, it was the same animation style throughout. They just had one studio doing it, OLM, who do a few bits and pieces, right? I think they did Odd Taxi earlier this year.
Oh, okay. Which is highly accredited.
And they've done some other Pokemon stuff in the past as well, but this one was really well animated. It was really good.
I did Your Taxi, yeah. Also did komi-san as well.
Okay. Is this another transition? Do I go straight on?
Oh, holy shit! Yep, it's another transition.
These segues are so good. We're so on it.
Yeah, they're clean.
Let's talk about that, because this isn't one that you watched at all. You didn't watch any of this one.
I looked at it, thought maybe, but I was just not interested enough. And I think I was waiting for feedback from you, and like if it were really good or really worth watching.
Let's say that I watched it because, I mean, fundamentally the idea behind the series wasn't super interesting to me. It was just like it felt like a slight spin on the traditional like slice of life comedy with a bit of romance in their series.
Mhm.
And I probably wouldn't have checked it out if it wasn't so hyped up from people that had read the manga. And what I was gathering as an impression going in was it might not be as good as the manga because it's difficult to adapt, is what they were saying. And I liked episode 1 because it felt like this is unique, this is its own thing. So the idea behind the series is we've got our main character, Tadano, I think you say it, and he is friends with this girl called Komi, and Komi's got this really like insane anxiety disorder in which that she's not able to talk to anyone. So it's called Komi can't communicate. She's not able to talk to anyone because of anxiety and stuff. So Tadano's trying to help her to make 100 friends, which is what she wants to do. She wants to make 100 friends, and that's the premise of the series. Is this girl with like extreme anxiety wanting to make friends and talk to people, and that's kind of like sets itself up for potentially heartwarming moments and stuff like that. But when it's framed as a slice of life comedy, you're not going to get that much of that, and the series didn't do a lot of that, and that's not necessarily a fault because it just never was going for that. It was never trying to address Komi's anxiety. It was never trying to suggest, and Komi's not even the main character, so it's never gonna give you that much of an idea about what's going on from her perspective, which is kind of disappointing. It would have been nice to at least have Komi as the narrator, and then you can at least like hear from her perspective on what's going on, because she'd communicate in the form of like writing words down, and that was okay. It just,
but you never like see inside her head.
you never see inside her head. So she's just this kind of character that you don't really get a lot on. She does, she does become slightly more confident as the series goes on. That's definitely true, and it's just that growth is never a focus. It just feels like that happens, and that's okay. It's just a little bit disappointing. I don't think any of the side characters are good either. Like, I mean, this is personal opinion, but your entire enjoyment of this show is going to depend on whether you find the side characters funny, and I didn't find any of them funny, so I'm not gonna enjoy this series that much. They take a lot of the attention away from Komi and Tadano, and that's okay if you enjoy what they're bringing, which is mostly just these like light-hearted comedic scenes. But it's just when you don't find them funny, it just takes everything away. It's like, well, the nice interactions we're having between Tadano and Komi, in which he's trying to help her make friends and stuff, that's at least better. That's better. And when it was just those two in like the first couple of episodes, I really enjoyed it. But then you're getting like, oh, well, they've made friends with this person, and then this person who's confident is able to lead every single episode from there. It's like, okay, not feeling that as much anymore. But I know I'm kind of in the minority that don't think it's really good. It was one of the ones that people really liked from this last season.
Yes, I mean, it's had both on AniList and mine on my list as well. It's had like about 100,000, 110,000 users, roughly a rating of like 8.1, 8.2 kind of. So it's pretty well, it's fairly well rated, very popular.
Yeah.
You think these sort of issues with it are because of the anime adaptation, or do you think they are also present in the manga? Like, what impression have you got from?
I honestly feel that this is something that I would feel if I had read the manga as well. I don't feel like these are unique to, this side character would be so less annoying in the manga format, but maybe some of the visual gags and stuff would work a little bit better, because like the animation was limited, right? So when you're having a visual gag, it's like the One Punch Man thing. It's like season 2 didn't work as well because the animation was worse, so the visual gags didn't come off very well, and so when you've got that kind of idea here, it doesn't work quite as well. That simply is true. It's just it doesn't mean it's a problem, but there wasn't enough kind of there on its own. The animation wasn't good, wasn't great. The music wasn't great. There wasn't kind of enough of that sort of thing there to make this enjoyable in and of itself, if that makes sense. It wasn't distinctive enough stylistically to stand on its own without being funny and without having like proper exploration of anything. So that's why it kind of felt a little bit flat for me. But I don't think it's terrible, and I can absolutely understand why anyone would like it. It's just not my thing.
It's like a good kind of bread and butter slice of life thing.
Yeah.
Falling, I guess, into that category because slice of life is a fairly popular category.
I think if you enjoy a lot of slice of life comedies, this is just another one of those that you'd enjoy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm slightly underwhelmed by it, but it could be something that I could see a lot of people enjoying if they're into the genre. So it's not terrible.
That's fair.
Yeah, should we do yours next? One of your own ones.
Oh sure. What other things have I watched this season? Is Pirare?
Yeah, go for that.
Which
you might have to introduce this one because I'm not sure that many people have heard of it.
Pirare, I think, Pride of Orange. It's a weird show where it's essentially a sports anime about hockey. It's about girls hockey, but somehow it's also mixed with an idol show.
Nice.
And it's very odd because episode 1 you get kind of like a little hint into the fact that they're going to win. So you already know the ending at episode 1, and in episode 1, after they've won, they do like this idol song called the victory dance, where you've got 7 cute girls dancing type thing. So it's also this kind of cute girls doing cute things show, kind of. It's like blending those 3 genres in together. So episode 1, I think sells the show as a lot worse than it actually is. Because for the most part, there isn't that much focus on the idol part, which is really good because it's, I think, an awful idea to mix the two. So there's not that much focus, and it's sort of done kind of in a bit of a joke where they're doing a warm-up stretches for their hockey, which is clearly not stretches that are intended to be used in hockey because they're like dance moves.
Okay.
So they're subtly practicing for the idol dance, and I think outside of episode 12, which I still need to see, I think they only do a dance in one of the other episodes. So they do it in episode 1, they do it in episode 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite well handled. In terms of the cute girls doing cute things, I think it does that fine.
Are they cute? Are they cute? Well,
no. Well, yes, but no. They're just standard anime girls, right? Okay, they've got 1,000,001 different hair colors. Bam, there you are. You've got your basic, your basic personality set. Some are shy, some are not shy.
Okay.
It's just basic, right? If you like, sure. They have a cross-stitch club as well, so there's multiple activities for them to partake in.
Oh, there you go. That sounds good.
But
no, you did actually enjoy it, didn't you?
I did, because sports anime-wise, it's fine. It's nice. They're kind of wholesome generally. Most people are wholesome. There's one character who is on a team, and she's really good at hockey. Her team isn't that good at hockey, and they rely on her. She gets quite annoyed at her team because I think they end up losing a match, and she feels like her team aren't taking it seriously and that sort of thing. They aren't doing enough work, so she ends up quitting the team. But then she comes and ends up somehow, through sheer coincidence and sort of dictated plot, ends up on the team with the main cast of girls on it.
Sure.
And kind of through that, she becomes friends with them and is a bit more relaxed about hockey, and still is good and does well, but is also doing well with a group of people who also want to do well at hockey. So there's that really kind of friendly, wholesome element of her developing as a character. It's doing sort of some of the sports anime stuff fine, at a level, I'd say probably a decent level for a sports anime. It's paced pretty well. I think in the anime they do over nearly a year, maybe, of time, maybe 2/3 of a year or something.
It doesn't feel so bad. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's paced really because they're doing training montages, they're preparing for their matches, they change school, it's actually a really kind of in the same way I think Komi can't communicate is sort of a like pretty good bread and butter sports anime. This would have been a pretty good bread and butter sports anime.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely is better than Remain.
Oh, let's go.
Remain's
Let's
fun,
go.
I think in the sports anime sense, it's just
Yeah.
the fact it was mixed with this idol stuff leaves kind of a bad tint in your mouth.
Okay.
Unless you like that.
Unless you
kind of
like
stuff.
it, then it's probably up your street even more.
Yeah, I guess you're really happy. But it was surprisingly good. One thing I liked about it as well was in the opening. A lot of times in well, maybe this isn't true, but in the opening they kind of did like these sort of slice of life activity things, like you see them going, bowling, or you see them doing other things. So it's sort of like is implicitly contributing to what happens on behind the scenes in the anime and like what they do as friends and that sort of stuff, which I quite liked.
That's always quite good. Yeah, when they do good things in the opening, it just things that add things to the show, right? I know. Yeah. I'm going to talk about Mushoku Tensei in a little bit, and that uses the openings in amazing ways. But that's definitely, it's good that they are able to add stuff with the openings, right?
Because I think also with kind of sports anime, you kind of get you get one of two things. I think normally you get like a compilation of people doing various things, or of just other characters, or you get some weird thing that involves colors for some reason, different colors.
Yeah.
Don't know why they do the different color things, but quite often they do. And normally it's just them playing the sport, but this one there's a little bit of that, but a lot of it was just kind of like these sort of slice of life slideshow type stuff, with background stuff going on and things, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it was fairly good. I think some of the animation was quite good as well. At certain points for like the actual playing hockey.
Okay.
I can't speak to how well it accurately represented hockey, or how well it sort of, did that element, because I've never watched ice hockey before.
Yeah, fair enough.
I have a better. I wouldn't even be able to understand, like astro hockey or grass hockey or whatever. But I'd have a better stab at it than I would ice hockey. But yeah, it was decent.
That's good. That's good, because I don't know. I was a bit surprised when you checked it. I know you like your sports anime, but I was like, this one doesn't look good. But you still got some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, it's been rated 6.3 on Mal, which is fair. I think probably between a 6 and 5. I think.
Okay.
It's not quite as good as Free. But then again, my opinion of Free is maybe slightly lower than the standard opinion of Free.
Yeah, right. Well, it's still okay.
But definitely,
it's definitely not bad.
League's better than Remain. League's better than
Remain.
Not Leagues, but...
You need to watch Kramer so we can slander that one too.
Maybe I have to. Maybe I have to force myself to.
Because Remain I do slander, but I still think it's better than Kramer.
Oh my word! Okay. Remain is rated like a whole point higher than Ferrari, which.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't really like Remain, but that's that.
Not neither. But hey.
I don't know. Is that for another time? Do we have a Remain slander podcast? Do we actually do one of those?
I think the issue is, even if we do a Remain slander podcast, it's still going to appear in my book of slander.
Yeah.
Of things to slander, and
it doesn't get it over with. We continue to slander it. Yeah.
It carries on. It's just we've also produced a whole long. And if we're going to do a proper slander of Remain, you have to go in depth. You have to
frame by frame slander.
Yeah, which in some cases you could save time because the frames are exactly the fucking same.
Oh God. No, okay. Let's move on. Moving on. Shall I do Mushoku Tensei because I mentioned it?
Yeah, mentioned.
I won't talk too long about it. It's the second season, so if you've seen Mushoku Tensei, you know what it's about at this point. It's your kind of traditional isekai. I think it was originally made, like the web novel was pretty early on in like the isekai boom, so lots of series are kind of like attributed to being inspired by Mushoku Tensei in some way. And I can see that. You can see a lot of the cases where it's like, oh, this element exists in a lot of isekai, and apparently it's like, oh, well, that started in Mushoku Tensei, and I'm pretty certain it started before ReZero. I can see some inspiration that ReZero might have taken from certain parts of it. Subaru like having similar elements to. He's not nearly as bad, but having similar elements to. Rudy, the main character from Mushoku Tensei. There's stuff there. There's stuff there, and you can understand that. I obviously think ReZero is far superior to Mushoku Tensei, but that maybe is for another time. I think. I mean, I talked about the opening briefly. Like the opening's amazing. The fact it doesn't use like an opening sequence, it has a newly animated bit every week. Where the music will play, and it was basically just world exploration. It was just show normal people going about their lives in the city that they're in, which is great when so much of the focus of this season is just exploring new environments and new parts of the world. So that was great. That was really, really good. And we get some pretty nice development for some of the characters. Eris is probably the one that grows the most this season. I mean, Rudy, the main character, grows a bit. Rudyard, who's one of the other kind of major trio, grows quite a bit. So it's good. It is an improvement on the first season, but if you know what the problems are with it, its approach to the sexual content, which is quite high. There's quite a lot of it. Is never done well in this show. Is never done well, and. The best I can say with Mushoku Tensei Season 2 is there is a moment which is really questionable, which feels a little bit less questionable than the rest of it. It's a slight improvement, but it's still done pretty poorly in my opinion, all of that stuff. And I don't want to say too much about it, obviously, with it being like the second season and stuff, but I don't know. I just find it difficult to kind of recommend because of that content.
Is it in sort of what sense is it handling it badly type way?
So the main character is he's was like a 40-year-old shut-in, and he got reincarnated into this new world, and he's got all these awful habits about basically like being a NEET that's been shut in this room for however long, and ends up being basically like making sexual gestures towards every single girl, and they're all children because he's reincarnated as a child. And so all these people that are his age, as in his reincarnated age, but he's got the kind of the mental capacity of a guy that's been shut in this room for 10 years and hasn't felt the touch of a woman for a long time.
Okay, yes, I see.
It's never done particularly well, and it's never something I like. It was better than season 1. It was better than season 1. The content was more interesting, and I wouldn't have said this was bad, and I wouldn't say it's bad, even with the obvious flaw. But I'd struggle to recommend it. I think the studio behind it, Studio Bind, who have created solely for making Mushoku Tensei, the only anime they've worked on have been the 2 seasons of Mushoku Tensei that they've done. They're amazing. The amount of like care that they give to this adaptation feels like incredible. The animation's like superb. The music's amazing. The the fight scenes are great. They're really well put together. I think it feels like a really, really great adaptation of the source material as well. I don't know if that is true. I've no idea, but it feels good. It feels really good.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I'm assuming it's like they've taken a bunch of people and said we're going to employ you in the studio.
Yeah. Do you want something? Do you want something that makes me a little bit sad? Lots of the members of Studio Bind were taken directly from ReZero staff from season 1, so a bunch of the talent that made season 1 a lot better than season 2 are now at Studio Bind working on Mushoku Tensei, which upsets me because now ReZero is not as good.
Yes, but
But I can appreciate this adaptation still.
yeah.
You know.
I wonder what happens then when. Well, I say when. I'm assuming there is an end to the adaptation of it because I'm guessing they're just going to carry on working on the next.
Yeah, they've already announced the next season. I think the plan basically is just to adapt all of it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they just essentially disband the studio when they've done that.
Yeah, just get to the end and then do ReZero again, right?
I wonder if it was like, is it common to do this?
No, this is not common. This is not common at all.
I wonder if it's going to set like a precedent or something.
It would be cool, but I don't think it's really something you could do with many series. They'd have to.
I really think it feels like you need a long one, right, to do it for.
Yeah. It's got to be long and it's got to be pretty important as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. In terms of the isekai genre, how worth watching would you say it is?
How worth watching? I think if you like isekai shows, this is like a must-watch.
Yeah.
I feel it's pretty. I'd recommend it. In terms of like, if you want to watch an isekai show, I'd say this is a good one to go for because it gives you a pretty great understanding of what the genre is like. There are a lot of other isekai shows, and I'm never like a massive fan of there's a lot of them that I'm not a huge fan of. I think there's a lot of like trash, and you'd know that there's a lot of trash isekai shows. But there feels, even though Mushoku Tensei is not incredible or anything, there feels like there's a lot more value in this one. It doesn't feel like it's just another isekai. I'd say it's pretty good. It's not ReZero. Konosuba's different because it's a parody of the genre.
Yeah.
But after that, there aren't that many more that I'd say are worth watching ahead of this. From what I've seen, anyway.
Okay. That's fair. I won't watch it.
Say something nice about the Mushoku Tensei challenge.
But that's fair.
Yeah. I don't think I'll talk too much about like Demon Slayer from this season because it's exactly the same as the movie, which came out like earlier this year.
Yeah.
It basically is that. It's the seven episodes. The first episode is like new. Is it new content? But the other 6 are just the movie again. It's a couple of rearrangement of scenes and stuff, but it's the same thing.
I mean, all I'll say is it's a character who's got cool hair. That's my input.
There you go. That's helpful. Maybe they'll check it out now.
Based solely on that recommendation of me not seeing anything other than the cover.
Yeah. Well, do you want me to keep going? I've got 2 more to talk about from this last season.
I think I've mentioned the ones that I've seen.
I
think. Because you watched Sakugan as well, didn't you?
I watched Sakugan, yeah. And Sakugan was cool. I was never expecting this one to be incredible or anything. I think it's Satelight, the studio, Satellite or Satelight or however you say it. Who I'm not sure what they've done really. They did Log Horizon Season 1, which was quite decent.
They're these people.
Yeah, they've done.
Yeah,
they've done a fair amount of stuff. Not a lot that I've seen, but it looked to me, just from the promotional material, that this was going to be like a Studio Trigger show, and it kind of was. Episode 1 had big robots, it had kaiju, it had drills. It like the animation style looked like Studio Trigger. I think this it was a fun series. Not all of it was great, and it definitely dropped off quite a bit after the last couple of episodes. The plot meandered quite a lot. It was a case of like you could watch the first episode or the first like 2 or 3 episodes, and then watch the end, and it kind of like it still would make enough sense in terms of where the plot's gone.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like amazing narratively. The series hinges on whether you think the main relationship between Memempu and Gagumba, which is like a parent-daughter relationship. Also, I love those names. Gagumba and Memempu. So Gagumba's the father, and Memempu is the daughter. Whether you like that relationship, and I did like those two together. I thought they bounced off each other really well. You know, sometimes Memempu was a bit annoying, and sometimes Gagumba's a bit like dumb, like a bit too dumb. But it was fun. It was really quite fun, and it was about what I was expecting it to be. And looking at like average scores and stuff, this one didn't do amazingly, but it was good fun, and I definitely say that it was. I'm glad that I watched it just because it's pretty cool, and it's pretty fun. And look, it's silly, it's dumb. It's not amazing. It's not great, and it's not the big trigger shows that you think of. It's no Gurren Lagann or anything, but it's just like it's like a little baby brother version of Gurren Lagann. That's not very good, but it's still fun. It's still fun. That is my little review.
That's fair. I mean, I'm looking as well, like at the staff thing, and you know the director and assistant director are, you know, haven't done that much stuff, sort of thing. So that makes sense why it might feel a little sort of, you know, plotless on the end of the
it could be one with a continuation that maybe finds its feet a little bit better. But it feels it's kind of a little bit all over the place in terms of the plot and stuff. But hey, it was pretty good. The other one, the last one that I was watching, and it's still kind of going on, is 86 seconds, or part 2, I guess, not second season, but the second core of 86. It's I say it's still going on. It's had a few production issues that have led to quite a few recap episodes and quite a few delayed episodes and stuff like that. So it's for the last like sort of 6 weeks, it's been like episode, week off, episode, week off type thing. And it's used up the slots it had, and now we've got to wait 2 months until the next episode. And we've got 2 left, and they haven't been able to get the next couple of slots, so they've got to just leave it until they can get the next 2. That said, even with the production issues, it's still really, really sick. It's still really good. You know, it's A1 Pictures Animation, and their CG in this show, superb, absolutely superb. The music's done by Sawano, so you know it's good. And I've really quite enjoyed it again. I think some of the stuff with Shin this season, Shin being the main character, of course, this season, really, really good. Lots of it has focused on him, and I've really appreciated that, because first season was focused on what's her face? The main handler. The other. What's her face? She's not been in this season. I can't remember. Lena. That's it. Yeah, Lena. Focused on Lena from season. Yeah, it was mostly her in season 1, and this season's been mostly on Shin, and that's kind of good, because they were always the main 2 characters, but now it's like we've shifted the focus from mostly one to mostly the other, and I guess at some point we have them, you know, both together, both being the focus together, which hasn't happened because they've been in like different locations throughout the entire series. They've never actually physically been together. So yeah, it's good. It's a good show. And I want more of it, and we will eventually get more of it. It's the perfect kind of light novel adaptation in that they really aren't cutting anything. They are.
They're doing.
I think Core 1 covered just over one novel of the one book of the light novels. and that was for 11 episodes, covered just over one book.
That's decent.
That's really not a lot. They added a lot of anime original scenes as well, just to kind of slow it down slightly.
Okay. That's interesting.
And I really appreciated that because it never felt like they were making cuts. It felt like there was quite a lot of information that needed to be said, and they were making sure that they said it all. And that feels really, really good. Especially when some shows cut a lot of content. Some shows cover an entire light novel in 2 episodes. So certain isekai shows that I like.
Yes. That's interesting. Yeah.
But that's basically everything from everything that we've seen from this last season. I think it was pretty good overall. Like, there was quite a few shows that I checked out.
Yeah. I think I would have been happy just with Hiki and Period.
Yeah.
Visions was nice. Sort of, as an added bonus. And like, I guess for the trash sports anime of the season.
There was always one.
It wasn't that bad. There was one.
What was your favourite of, before we go on to next year, which we'll talk briefly about, what would be your favourite shows from 2021?
Overall. Ooh, okay. Hiki's definitely up there. I think Rakuten would be up there. AOT would be, but I don't really like including it because it's like a continuation type thing, so it feels. And there's something about putting saying, "Oh, it was AOT again." But I really did like the season of AOT. I liked the direction it went, and I liked the vibe, I liked feeling, like all of that stuff. It was really good. Were there any other standouts? I think that was it. Yeah, Hiki, Blue Period, and Rakuten. AOT would be there.
Yeah, it was a pretty good year, really. Obviously, we had AOT. We had the Evangelion movie finally come out sometime this year. The final Eva movie, which I enjoyed. We had ReZero Season 2 Part 2, but it wasn't my favourite. It wasn't my favourite. The second season of Beastars also this year. That feels like a long time ago, but that was good.
Yeah.
Megalobox, I think I spoke about earlier. The second season of that was great. Vivi was pretty solid earlier in spring. And both parts.
Sunny
Boy was great. Sunny Boy was really good. That was probably that's up there. My favourite was that Summer, I think.
Yes, must have been.
Yeah.
Skate came out. Skate the Infinity.
No way. That was this year.
That was this year apparently. Okay, yeah. Wow. Even Link, we just started and need to finish watching, which has a really cool idea. Came out. Well, this has been a really good year, actually.
It's been a great year, but next year's also pretty great.
It is.
Let's have a quick look at the winter shows that we're gonna check out. So these are the ones that are just about to start.
Yes. Is this on? Are you doing this on AniList?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Yeah. So we'd sing them in the same order. So we're not reacting to different things.
So yeah, hold on. I think. Let me just get it up quickly so we can. So anime year 2022 winter. Yeah, there we go. We've got them.
Yeah. Okay. By popularity.
So we should be starting with AOT and then Demon Slayer. Yeah. They're the ones, right? Obviously, I'm caught up with Demon Slayer, so I'm going to be watching that, and AOT is the big one. AOT is the big one.
AOT is the big one.
I cannot wait for AOT.
Yeah.
But it just feels so. I don't know. It's just so significant as well. AOT, the next season is. I don't know if we're getting the end. I've no idea whether this is actually the end or whether there's something after it. But it's that big that it's so big. It's just more AOT is huge.
It's especially because it's been left, in media res. on that kind of like cliffhanger almost of,
Hmm.
they were literally in the middle of a scene and you ended the season. Like,
Yes,
shut why? It's not even like a, uh, quite often you have that sort of end of an arc type thing or something.
Yeah.
Nope, it's bang in the middle. It's like, yep, fuck you. You have to wait an entire year to work out what's going to happen.
It's felt quite long, but it's just kind of snuck up on us a little bit, and now it's here almost, like just over a week away as we're recording this until it comes out.
That would be painful to watch as well, once a week, because I was lucky enough to be able to binge watch
the entire thing.
Yeah, and definitely some seasons I think I ended up like watching in 2 days or something, kind of sort of deal, where I would just be able to watch like 7 episodes in a row and be like, yep, cool. And I won't be able to do that. I have to watch it weekly, which is going to be painful.
But we can have AOT Sundays can come back and we can discuss it every week.
AOT Sunday.
That was good fun with Adam, myself and Adam each week, discussing that. That was good, and there'll definitely be a lot of discussion going on week by week. It's just a lot going on. Demon Slayer is going to be pretty cool. Entertainment District arc, I think it's called, which I don't know. I think so far it's gone with a slightly slower kind of build up to the arc, which is nice. I'm not like a humongous Demon Slayer fan. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's like a solid new gen shonen.
Yeah.
But it looks good. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I probably should check it out because, I've checked out a few of the other shonen shows and not hugely liked them or wanted to watch them.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's reason why I should check this one out, but
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it'll be different, maybe it'll be.
It's like this and Jujutsu Kaisen are like the huge new shonens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Jujutsu Kaisen's got the movie that's just aired in Japan or airing in Japan now, so I don't know when we'll get a release of that over here, but that would be cool. That's cool. I don't know. I mean, from other things from this season, there's that. I'm not saying this because I want to watch it, but there's that World's End Harem thing that I spoke to you about before. The one with 99.9% of men on the planet are wiped out.
Such a painful concept.
That's getting an anime.
Yeah.
Then move on.
Fine.
I don't think I'll watch it, but there you go. Can't rule it out with me. I don't think.
Yeah. That's fair.
Is there anything else that you have already marked down as something you're going to watch?
There are a few. Looking through a bunch of sports ones. It's one Boys Love one. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe. Can't remember. There's a few sports ones. Some of them look good. Some of them look trash. But I'm optimistic for at least one good one.
Which one is that?
Okay. This is the issue. Is maybe there isn't going to be a good one.
You haven't picked one out.
I suspect maybe Slow Loop might be the. Slow Loop or Futsal Boys is probably going to be the best one.
Okay.
I suspect it might. No, it's not. There's not going to be a good one. There's not. There's not going to be a good one. There's not going to be a good one.
We'll see. There's definitely going to be some stuff later in the year though. That is going to be good. Because like we look forward to spring and we know we're getting. I mean, second season of Shield Hero. I haven't watched season 1 yet. I'm kind of like it's on there somewhere. I'll watch it at some point.
Is Shield Hero an isekai?
Yes. Yeah, it's an isekai. It's meant to be pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that one yet. We've got Kaguya season 3, which is always great. The first 2 seasons have been fantastic.
I should need to catch up on that at some point. Because I've watched season 1.
You do need to catch up. Spy X Family is also another like hyped up manga. which is coming out at the same time as Komi season 2. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
But this one's meant to be, and the trailer for it looked pretty great, so I'm excited. The one thing that worries me slightly is Cloverworks are working on it, and and that is not always a good thing.
Maybe they're just doing the first half, and we're doing the second half.
I'd be fine with that. Just
It's going to be the other way around.
it's going to be the other way around because we're also doing the that movie Bubble, which looked really amazing.
Oh yeah, that one.
So this is a movie that Wit Studios are doing, and it's got like the most insane staff list. It's got Araki, who did the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, the director.
Okay.
So that's pretty sick. It's got Sawano on music. It had, I think it had Yuki Kaji, I believe, which is Eren's voice actor. So there you go. There's 3 AOT people already.
Yeah.
It had Urabuchi, who did Madoka Magica, I believe.
Okay.
And the script. He was writing the script. And you had the character designer for things like Death Note and Rurouni Kenshin, I believe. I don't know if he did. No, I don't think it's Rurouni Kenshin, but I can't remember. He did something else that I can't really remember.
Mm.
But yeah, some pretty solid picks there.
Yeah.
It was a pretty crazy staff list, and yeah, the trailer looked amazing. So
should be good.
So that's good. And we know of a couple of other second seasons coming as well, don't we? Like Main Abyss, Finland are meant to be this year. Yeah, we know Mob Psycho season 3 is meant to be this year.
My Hero Academia season 6. We were all excited. No.
Yeah, we're all excited.
Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man. Yeah, that's meant to be this year as well.
That's supposed to be pretty good. The manga is, at least.
4th season of Overlord. If any Overlord fans are listening, yeah, Blue Lock's meant to get an anime this year as well. The football one, which I am looking forward to because
I am as well.
I want it to be good. Man.
Finally, a good football one. Maybe. Yeah.
Oh, we're getting a 3rd season of Isekai Quartet this. Oh no, we're getting a movie for Isekai Quartet this year. That's so weird. But that's quite a lot of pretty good ones.
Yeah, there's a fair chunk actually of decent or things that appear decent.
And we've still got lots to hopefully hear about someday soon. I still have not. I was upset we didn't get a Haikyuu season 5 announcement. That one's kind of sad, but
yeah.
One day.
Wait, is there another football one coming out as well?
I think there were 2 this year. Can't remember what the other one was.
Yoshi? Maybe?
Because
there's Futsal Boys Rain that's coming out, which is, I'm assuming, not football.
Futsal is futsal, yeah.
Yeah. What's futsal?
The indoor one with a small ball.
Okay.
It's focused.
Sure.
It's like 5-a-side indoors.
Yep. Okay, so there's another one coming out. Surune is getting a movie, which is nice.
Cool.
That's cute animation, so it should be good.
There's something coming out. I mean, it just says it's called Skate provisional title on the AniList. Aniplex revealed during the Skate Masquerade of Love event on Sunday that a new anime project for the original TV anime Skate is in the works. That's cool.
That could be
movie,
cool.
New season. Don't know what it is. This was a long time ago. This was like 6 months ago that this was announced, but we don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they'd go. That might feel to me like this is doing really well, let's get a second thing. And then they're trying to think of what to do for a second thing, because I can't see where you'd go.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I'm just,
Yeah. I don't know, actually. It might, I reckon it would probably be enjoyable, but not as good, because I can't see any interesting, engaging, or sort of obvious plot continuations. I can
Yeah.
just see it being more of the same, which would still be enjoyable.
More of the same is still good, though. More of the same is still
Yeah,
good.
yeah, because it's entertaining at least.
But I think that's pretty much everything. We've spoken about the whole year in some way. We've spoken about
Yeah.
next season, and we've done quite a lot on this last season. So unless there was anything you wanted to talk about that, I can't remember the name of the Chinese one that you're watching.
Oh, the Chinese one, yes. Da Wang Raoming, I think. Butcher pronunciation, because I do not speak Chinese or any of the variations on it.
Uh huh.
Um, it's oh, it's it's just funny. Um, it's just kind of funny. The fights are quite pretty good. I like the animation in them. I like the premise.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a person who kind of uh somehow discovers he has powers. On oh no, I do remember how. Um, he's like in this is first episode, so it's not really spoilers. But he's like left on the doorstep of an orphanage as a baby with like a necklace around his neck,
Mm-hmm.
and that necklace kind of gives him his powers.
Sure.
So it sort of makes sense that way. But part of his power system is having like a gacha system where he can like roll, and
That's
as a
fun.
reward he gets like apples and stinky tofu and stuff, and
Amazing. Yeah.
it's good fun. The opening is brilliant, and it has a delightful relationship between him and his sister, which is just really wholesome, really funny, really good fun to watch.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good.
It's good fun. It's good
The
fun.
OP looks amazing for that. Is basically the
Oh,
extent of which I know anything about the series. Is the OP looks incredible.
it's it looks so good. It also is like work just went into my brain to the point where occasionally I'll just look it up on YouTube to watch it because I need to hear that sound again. Um, because it's something about it. Oh, it's so good visually.
Yeah. I remember
It
seeing a work in progress of it like a year ago or something, or like half a year ago, and that was just like the apple scene at the very start, if I'm remembering
mm,
correctly.
yeah,
And oh, it looks so good, and I was like, and then I saw the actual thing, just it popped up on my Twitter feed,
yeah.
and I was like, this is insane. It's all this good. It all looks that good. Uh,
It's a majestic. The animation itself isn't as good as the OP,
I
which
would expect that.
makes sense. There've been a few points where it's come kind of close.
Okay, that's
There was
pretty
one
cool.
like in very short, brief scenes, and you look at it and you go, "That looks like there's been a lot of time and effort put into animating this
Mhm.
because that looks good." Um, and it's kind of getting similar in terms of like colors and ideas, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the only downside is um, I don't know if there's official subtitle translations.
Okay.
Um, which
We
maybe
can't talk
there is.
too much about illegal websites on here, but
I've been watching it on YouTube, which is very legal watching stuff.
yeah, right. Yeah,
So
right. You're fine. You're fine.
put that black flag away. I don't even. What's the thing was I couldn't even find out where to watch it legally, like properly legally. I'm
Yeah.
assuming the YouTube is a, like a.
I'm assuming you're not supposed to watch it on there.
Yeah, it looks like a fan account who's done translations in English, Spanish, and like Bangladeshi or something, like one
Sure.
of some I think Indian sort of subcontinent dialects, like that cultural area group kind of thing. I think it's
Yeah.
Bangladesh. And so the subtitles are, you know, uh, confusing, um, but that doesn't really matter because it's still enjoyable. It's you can follow along what's vaguely going on. You don't need to know the exact specifics or actually understand fully what's happening. Get a rough idea. But it's
Dub,
still good.
dub, dub. That's
Um,
good. That's good though.
very very enjoyable though. Oh, the
Awesome.
animations. I wish more OPs were like that.
If they blow all their budget on the OP, then in that case.
That's true. They would. Um,
Shows that
I,
are struggling already for budget. Don't need to spend all of it on an OP. We
that's
actually
the point.
actually
What
talked about earlier about how great it was that they didn't do a proper OP in Mushoku Tensei. I don't know if I can agree with this.
Yeah. I think just make the OP stand out.
Yeah.
Um, And if you can't, then that's fine.
What about
There's
cutting out the OP to make more time for the actual episode?
I was going to say Sunny Boy did that, right? And it worked really well.
Yeah, Sonny Boy didn't have an OP at all.
And it was actually really good.
The ED for Sonny Boy was great as well. I still listen to that quite a lot.
I need to find the final version.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because the episode 12 version
Slightly different, yeah.
was slightly different, I think. It might have been a little bit better. Maybe. I do quite like some. I like listening to them some of the time.
Yeah.
Quite like the Ferrari one. Like bits in that, I go like, yeah, this is a cool song.
Yeah, there were some really good ones this year, some OPs and stuff. We had that Beastars one by Yasobi that we both really like.
Oh, that's so good.
The Beastars ending's also great. I don't know if I ever showed you that, but
I don't remember.
No.
Beastars.
Beastars second season ending. Yeah, that was good. There were quite a lot of good ones this year. I did like the Attack on Titan ones, obviously. The Sunny Boy ending's great. Yeah. It was good. It was good season. I like the Sakugan opening actually. That one's pretty fun. But yeah, I think we'll probably end there for now. Just short of 2 hours, I believe, and that's fine. We don't need to pad it. No one's got this far. No one's getting anywhere near this far.
But maybe some historian in 1,500 years will be sat there listening, writing at a desk, and realise we haven't said anything meaningful the entire episode.
What do you mean? We slandered Remain for a few minutes. That was worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you want that outro this week?
I would say yes if I could remember what the outro is.
I'll just say something. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna awkwardly bumble our way to saying goodbye.
I get this is the end. Bye.
Yeah, that works. Subscribe or follow us on each of the various platforms, the 2 platforms that this is up on.
Don't forget to ring that bell.
Don't forget to ring that bell. We have got very few people that have given this a positive. Let's say very few people that have given positive feedback. So make sure you leave a like to show that you're special and that you've made it through this far. And and if you're on YouTube and you comment, give me something they can comment well.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy swan. That's not like saying, but it's close to it.
Yeah, if you comment that, then we might pin your comment or something. I don't know. They've not. No one's going to say that.
Someone's going to say it now.
What? So you think someone's going to skip to the end, or do you think someone's actually going to listen all the way through?
Within 3 years, that will be commented.
I'll take you off on that.
I need to set a reminder in like 2.5 years' time to comment it myself if no one else.
Yeah, that'll be the one, right?
The solution.
But yeah, thank you for listening. I've ended up doing the outro anyway.
Yeah. No, you have. I mean, my outro was just a thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye works. Do you want to do one more of those?
Okay. Thanks, bye.